we know each other, I'm going to screen share again. We're missing Sarah Friedman, who is playing the role of secretary, and she cannot make it today, so I think I will try to move the conversation forward. So I think the first thing on the agenda is approval of January 7 meeting minutes.
I move that we approve the minutes.
Is there a second?
I second.
Okay, so the voting members, please raise your hand if you approve. Okay, everybody approves. So if announcements, I think most of you got the email if you were on the ASPA panel, but our chapter has the slot that we can submit the proposal for an ASPA conference panel, and we are now accepted to attend the ASPA 2021 virtual conference. So I guess we now have to sort of try to do some promotion and contact some of the panelists, making sure that people know that there is an ASPA Cascade chapter presentation. Okay. So here in the view, and Sarah created an annual report, and it was sent to all members, if I remember correct. Rebecca, did you get it?
Yes, yes, I did.
And so the main points are highlighted in the annual report, but I think I can show you. Some of the events we participated in the 2020 conference practitioner panel. We brought in practitioners and put together a panel, and that was the first virtual conference. So there was a lot of organizing required. Kevin did a lot of good job in contacting the practitioners. We sponsored the 2020 Funders Fellows. So we did a variety of different things, but the main thing that we spent a lot of energy this year was to develop a 5-year strategic plan. And as you can see here, through the 5-year strategic plan, we identified 5 visions. And the way that our facilitator guided us with the strategic planning was to kind of tackle one vision at a time. So the vision 1 is focusing on promoting social justice. And so right now we are in the middle of kind of clarifying the concept of social justice so we can identify the action plans. So in the interest of time, I'm going to skip it. You can see all the guiding principles that we have in the strategic plan. And then we have the bios of the current board members. I am embarrassed that I have this picture up. This is like 15 years ago. All right. Christopher is the treasurer. Do you want to do a quick financial summary?
Yeah, I mean, what we did with this particular financial summary was really to provide the opening and closing balances. Obviously, we did not have a whole lot of activity. The significant events were sponsoring the ASPA Founders Fellows Program for $500, and then we received $340, which is standard for rebates. There was some other minor activity. Typically what would happen in a given year, obviously, is that we would be spending on money on some of the logistics of promoting our events, that kind of thing. Obviously, none of that went forward. So we really did not have a whole lot of activity throughout the year. Here, thus endeth the treasurer's report.
Right, thank you. So that's the financial summary. And then I guess we have a membership report from the membership committee chair. Jennifer.
Yes, I wanted just to share my screen really quick. I looked at our latest membership reports, and I just thought I'd give everyone a quick update. It's really not a whole lot of information, right? Because we don't get a whole lot of information from those reports, but hopefully you could see my screen now. All I did was I looked at what sectors folks are from, right? Because I feel like that's really important in our ongoing discussion. And so overall, half of our chapter is academics, so people at the university level, right? But within that, we know that even though folks might be at the university, they might do different, activities. So just want to add that in there. About 24% of our memberships come from government practitioners. So that's another significant segment of our membership. And then about 7% come from the private sector, and 5% come from nonprofits. So definitely the nonprofit private sector are areas we could definitely work to build from, especially with many contacts here in Oregon. And then I looked at our membership across the country. I don't think this really tells us much in essence, but I thought it was really cool to just kind of track how even though we're here nestled in Oregon, we have ties across the country, right? And so, of course, we have our main base is here in Oregon. We probably need a little more outreach in Washington, even though we do support the southwest region of Washington. We don't have too many members up there, so we might want to focus on that in the future. We had a few folks out here in Idaho, and then Florida, Georgia, and then Michigan. So that was pretty cool. Did I say that state correctly? And then what I looked at is membership length, just how long people are members for, right? And so you kind of see this little smiley face, if you will. If we had two little dots here, our membership is sort of like a smiley face. Most of the people are members for about 5 years, and then it sort of dips from there. So either you're in for 5 years or you're in it for like a lifetime, 16 plus years, right? So I thought that was also interesting to kind of take a note of. It really doesn't tell us much, but I think it's good to know that we have most folks for 5 years. And then I looked at Facebook engagement, which we just started the page. We haven't really done any campaigns on there. We just, use it as a place to make updates. And so we haven't really increased our engagement, and maybe that's something we could work with, but I'm not sure if Facebook is the best way to communicate with our membership. Maybe emails are the best. But as you could see, since we started the page, we've had about 30-ish folks that follow us. Since then, we've only kind of hit 57 or so. So we're not even at the 60 mark. So that's important. It tells us a lot in terms of what social media, what role social media plays, right? So I think maybe email. I don't know if this would look different if we had Twitter. I really don't know. Maybe there's some other spaces where we could connect to our membership. And then,
I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
What's the total membership at the moment?
47.
47. Thank you.
Yeah, great point. I was going to add it on here and I forgot. And then just really quick, based on our survey that we sent maybe like 6 months ago, we sent out a survey to our membership, and we asked them how they classify themselves, right? And most in terms of like whether they're academic, practitioners, students, or both. When we asked folks to self-identify themselves, most say that they're both. So that's really, it sort of tells us that when we see this number academic, we need to kind of rethink what that really means, right? Again, this was a survey, it's a little outdated. We only had like 10 answers from that survey. So we can't really, make any assumptions from that, but it's still, it might help us understand who our membership is. And then finally, just again, based on that survey we sent to our membership a while back. One of the reasons that people are motivated to join our chapter is for networking and speaker events, followed by access to journals. So that's it. That concludes my membership profile. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So I think that's the general report out. And I don't think there is anything necessary we have to discuss. Is there any other agenda that we have to talk about? As part of the annual meeting? No? Rebecca, do you have any questions?
No, I appreciate the information.
Well, thank you. And thanks for coming to the membership meeting. We were worried that this is going to be another board meeting.
Happy to represent. Caught me on a
If
good
you want
day.
to interrogate the board, or
Yeah.
in turn have the board interrogate you as the one member at large sitting in the room, the virtual room.
You know, I'm in preparation for Oregon session. I'm very well versed at being interrogated at this
There
point.
you go.
So please feel free. But no, you guys are fantastic, and I really appreciate the leadership.
All right. Okay. Then I think with that, we will adjourn the annual membership meeting. Thank you very much. The panel discussion will start at 5:30, and hopefully the members and others will attend.